Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are going to go over the Hellblade game that just came out, Sonu's Sacrifice, on the PS4 and the PC. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a first impression of the game, and this is also a video of the first boss that you'll encounter, or at least the first boss that I chose. You had the option of going down one or two paths in the beginning of the game to figure out what boss you want to take out first. Doesn't really matter what you choose. I don't think it has any effect on the storyline, but I chose the Master of Illusion, and after a series of puzzles I finally got to this boss and engaged in this really thrilling fight with this guy. Now, he's going to have three phases to him. The first phase is your typical evade or block and then attack and get as much damage as possible in on him. After a couple of critical hits on him, then he goes down and he summons a couple of enemies. You kill those enemies, goes in the second form, a little bit of the same thing, go around the second run at enemies, and then in the third form he changes to where he becomes like a shadow, and you have to use your focus ability by hitting R2 to focus in on him before you can get any damage in on him. Now, you can still block his attacks and everything, but you have to be able to focus on him and his body appear for you to do damage on him. Now, Hellblade is made by an indie developer, but the game itself has AAA quality to it. The graphics on it are just simply stunning, depending on what you guys play on. I chose the PS4 just because the graphics on there were better for me and the way I have my television set up, but on the PC, if you have a damn good computer, it'd probably be recommended to play it on that. Visually it's stunning. Reminds me a lot of the scenery and the environment of Horizon Zero Dawn as far as the attention to detail, and it's just a beautiful game to look at. The pace of it is a little slow. You, for a majority of the game, are walking around doing puzzles, and you have to solve these things in the environment. You have the ability to run, but it's not really a fast sprint, so you are going to have to take a lot of time just kind of like walking around the environment, scanning around with your focus ability, and like lining up letters to the letters that are on a door that you're trying to open before you can open it. So as far as the gameplay itself, it's just a lot of walk around here and a lot of the background storyline through some of these spirits that are kind of like in her mind, and some of these spirits she encounters in the game. You have a constant cycle of voices going through her head. As you know, this game's kind of bringing awareness to mental illness and some of the things that people have to deal with in real life as far as voices in the back of their head. So it's a pretty cool observation and standpoint that this game tries to hit, and the key awareness of it is the voices, and they help you out in times. And again, you'll notice a lot of it's gibberish, and a lot of them, you know, kind of like playing devil's advocate against Sonu, but for the most part it's kind of a cool aspect of the game, especially if you wear headphones. It sounds like the voices are just all around you. Now, the combat of this game is pretty thrilling in itself as well. You can start out with any four difficulties: easy, normal, hard, or it has an auto difficulty, which I thought was really cool, and that's the difficulty I chose, to where the difficulty scales up to hell while you perform the game. So it gives you the option of kind of letting you learn the tips and tricks of the game and what attacks to do, heavy or light attacks on certain enemies. But after that, it kind of just throws you right in, and if you do really well against the first couple of battles and the first boss, the difficulty of it starts to scale up, and you start fighting harder enemies, and the enemies learn how you attack. So it's pretty cool. Another cool feature that I like, but not sure if anyone would agree or everyone will agree, but the fact that if you die a certain amount of times, you have a permanent death in this game, to where you cannot go back to it. You just have to completely replay the game. There's this, I guess you would say, a curse or disease that starts to spread on Sonu, and the more times you die, the more it spreads up her body, and once it gets to her head, it is permanent death. Now, I'm not entirely sure how many deaths it'll take to do that, but it looks like the disease kind of grows slowly on your arm. I think I've died, I want to say 2 or 3 times, once on this boss battle, and once just kind of learning the game, and the disease kind of spreads up starting from her, I think it's her left or right arm, and you can see the progress of it. So be wary of that if you guys are not up for a challenge. I guess don't pick up the game. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't not want to though, to be in a video game. You kind of want to challenge yourself, so I think it's a really cool aspect of the game that they've added. Now, the enemies themselves, it's going to be a little bit slower pace, slower pace compared to some of the other, I guess, timing battles or timing games you've done, to where you had to like time your attack senses. I know a lot of people compared it to Dark Souls combat, where you have heavy and light attacks and you can evade and all that, but the pace of it's a little slower. You can't just run around in circles and run away from battles. You can, but they kind of force you not to, just because of how hard it is to re-angle yourself in the battles once the battles start, and you can't just simply run. You can run towards an enemy to do running attacks, but as far as backing out, your evasion is not that far. She only steps back maybe one step to avoid a sword attack. You can't just like jump back multiple times to get out of the battle itself. So you'll find that's a little restricting, but it keeps you intense into the battle, to where it feels like the enemies will kind of like surround you because of the pace of the game. So it's a nice aspect of it as well. They give you a lot of leeway with your blocking, so if you can start to master the timings of people's attacks and get the blocking down and countering, you should be okay. Now, I haven't gotten entirely too far into the game, so I can't speak for the rest of the game, but Hellblade starts off really strong, and I advise anyone who is looking for a new creative game and wants to support a indie development game who's done a brilliant job at creating this, and I would recommend getting this game. It's only $30. The bosses, from what it looks like, are going to be pretty memorable. The first one alone, Living Breathless. I just beat the second one, Search, the Fire God, and it goes a lot into the Viking history, so you're going to find a lot of the gods. They sound a lot familiar with Odin, Loki, and all that mythology. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was the first boss battle I chose, the Master of Illusion. I had a wonderful time playing this for the first couple of hours, and I'm still playing it, so I will release more videos as soon as they are done on the bosses and show a little more content of the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you have not and you guys want to see future content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
She would not have this chance to find Dillion's soul. I'm coming.